By now, you should have already completed your IXL assignments on adding and subtracting integers. And again, by now, you should know those definitions of the rules for how to do those things. And today, you're going to have a quiz that you have to download. By the way, only send back the answers on the quiz. Do not send back your scratch work. However, number your scratch work and save it for when you come back, because I need to see it. All right, but the reason I wanted to give you this video was not to teach you how to do it, but to show you the kind of problems that are going to be on your quiz today, because they're a little different than the IXL ones. It might be something like this: a positive 234 plus a negative 386. Now, I don't think IXL gave you 3-digit integers plus 3-digit integers. But the rule is the same as it is for 1-digit integer or 1-digit integer. You just have to be more careful when you do it. So to start this, the first thing you ask yourself is, do I have the same signs or do I have different signs? Because if I have the same signs, I'm going to add and bring down the sign. If I have different signs, I'm going to subtract and take the sign a larger amount. These are different signs, positive and a negative. So even though this is an addition problem, I got to subtract. But I can't take 386 away from 234, so I use the commutative property of addition to change the order. So I put the negative 386 on the top, the positive 234 on the bottom, and even though it's an addition problem, I now subtract. 6 minus 4 is 2, 8 minus 3 is 5, 3 minus 2 is 1. And then I take the sign of the larger amount. The larger amount is negative. By the way, when you subtract, the larger amount always has to be on the top. The larger amount is negative, and your answer is negative. So a positive 234 plus a negative 386 equals a negative 152. And again, the problems on your quiz have bigger integers on it than the ones on IXL. But the rule is the same. Same signs, add and bring down the sign. Different signs, subtract and take the sign a larger amount. But now you have to be careful to add correctly or subtract correctly, because even if you use the right rule, if you add or subtract wrong, you're going to get it wrong. Now, the next one, example, would be something like this: a negative 234 minus a positive 367. Now again, the rule for subtracting integers is don't subtract integers. Always change to addition first. And you don't just say, poof, this is addition. It's not magic. The only way you can change to addition first is if you change the number you're subtracting to its opposite. So minus a positive becomes plus a negative. By the way, you don't change the top, you only change the bottom, because the bottom is the number you subtract by. And just like you change the number you divide by to its reciprocal, you change the number you subtract by to its reciprocal. So now that I made this an addition problem, now I follow my addition rule. Same signs or different signs? Let's see. A negative and a negative mean that I have the same sign. Therefore, I add and bring down the sign. 4 plus 7 is 11, carry your 1. 1 plus 3 is 4 and 6 is 10, carry your 1. 1 plus 2 is 3 and 3 is 6. And bring down the negative sign. And again, you're using the integer rule and for subtraction and the integer rule for addition in this problem. First, the integer rule for subtraction says subtraction to addition by adding the opposite, so minus a positive becomes plus a negative. And then the integer rule for addition says a negative plus a negative, add and bring down the negative sign. So again, it's the same as it was with the 1-digit adding and subtracting, so you just have to be more careful with your adding and subtracting. And finally, on your quiz, you have a problem that looks like this. Now, again, in this case, you are dealing with just 1-digit numbers, but you're dealing with 4 problems in one. an adding of integer, three problems in one: an adding of integer, a subtraction of integer, and a subtraction of integer. My recommendation, the way I like to do this, is I like to make everything addition before I start, for two reasons. Number one, because if I make everything addition before it starts, I won't make a problem with subtraction, and that's where most of the subtraction mistakes come. So to make it all addition, this is already addition, but minus a positive 4 becomes plus a negative 4, because minus a positive is plus a negative. The number you subtract by is in the back, so you change it to its opposite. Minus a negative 3 becomes plus a positive 3, because once again, minus a negative is plus a positive, because to change subtraction to addition, you change this to its opposite. So now that I have all addition, now I can use the addition rules. Now again, what I like to do is I like to use the commutative property and associative property of addition to regroup. The negative 8 plus the negative 4 group together, and the positive 2 plus the positive 3 group together. And again, why do I want to group it this way? Because if I group like signs together, all I have to do is add and bring down the sign. So a negative 8 plus a negative 4 is a negative 12. A positive 2 plus a positive 3 is a positive 5. And now I have one last problem to do. A negative 12 plus a positive 5. Different signs, subtract. 12 minus 5 is 7. Take the sign a larger amount. The answer is negative, and your answer is a negative 7. Now you don't have to do it the way I'm showing you here. You can do it using the algebraic order of operations and just go left to right. You could add these two, get an answer. Take that answer and subtract this from it, get an answer. Take that answer and subtract this from it, and get an answer. You'll get the same answer of a negative 7, but I think this is a faster way to do it. Once again, I think the best thing is to start by changing subtraction to addition both times, by changing the number you subtract by to its opposite before you start. Then use the commutative property to regroup, and then add. So that's what your quiz today is on. Take your time and be careful, and when you finish, save your scratch work number and save your scratch work, and just send in your quiz. Good luck. If you know your rules, you should do really well.